Hi,
Hey.
good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Brightside. Time for our weekly chat with happiness scientist Sha-En. Woohoo! All right, so today we're going to be finding out about rest. Not right now. Hey, join us on air as well. We're live on 1FM 91.3. Any questions, do chime in our comment section, yeah?
Indeed.
Want you here on 1FM 91.3. Exactly what I would say to a slice of chocolate cake. I want you so badly.
Oh, that is true. Or if that you is named Rest, I want you too.
Yeah.
Which is what we're talking about today with our favorite guest. On Monday, she's always in with us, happiness scientist Yeo Sha-En.
Welcome back, Sha-En.
Thank you.
Now, Sha-En is the #1 best-selling author, 2-time TEDx speaker, and the founder of Happiness Scientist. Every week, she comes in to tell us a little bit more about positive psychology, how we can motivate ourselves, how we can find good mental and emotional balance in our lives, work balance, personal life as well. So, Sha-En, why are there so many different kinds of rest? I thought, when we're tired, we just rest. Why are there different kinds of rest?
Well, this idea of 7 types of rest came from this medical doctor called Sandra Dalton Smith. And she discovered that even though she was sleeping a lot, she still woke up feeling tired. You guys ever feel that way?
Yes.
Like you had a good 8 hours and like, why am I still so tired?
Yeah.
And then she realized that not all rest is the same. Like physical rest, there's like you sleep, yes, but there's also active rest like yoga or massage, which is also physical, that helps restore your physical body, right? And then there's emotional rest, where sometimes we carry a lot of emotions on us. We take in a lot of other people's emotions, particularly say in professions that involve a lot of giving.
Sure.
So emotional labor. So you kind of need to not do that and just put that down and allow yourself to restore in that area as well. Yeah, and then there's things like creative rest. If you're always behind the computer, only doing like maybe very task-driven things and to hit your deadlines, but you don't have time to have your creative part of yourself explore, then you also don't actually get that rest. And so there are so many types of rest that she found out, and she realized that as human beings, we need many types of rest, not just sleep or napping.
Okay. Oh, that's very interesting. The thing about creative rest, emotional rest. Wow.
Yeah.
And she mentioned 7 types.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So our next question is, let me just pull it up. My brain is missing. What happens when we don't get enough rest?
Well, your nervous system just goes on overdrive. So just to put it in context, the nervous system is the one that is like in a car, if you think about it. Where at the red light, you stop. At the green light, you go. And there are 2 parts of our nervous system. And when we always go and not get to rest, then we feel exhausted and burnt out and fatigued. Right? But because we are stuck sometimes in this culture of like, we need to do more and more and more, only then we can be like good, productive people that seem to be contributing to the world, and we don't step on the brake often enough.
But what if you're in a position of responsibility, say a caregiver, you're a mom, and there is just sometimes where you feel like you can't stop and you can't rest because
it's true.
everything will fall apart if you do.
Yes. And I think from my experience, I used to be like that. I used to be, when my kids were small, I was just always on the go, and then I was looking at my business. So I think I learned that I need to communicate with the people in my life who can afford me that rest, whether it was my husband, my mom, or somebody who was looking after the family. Say like, I really need this time out, and we need to be the ones to articulate it. Sometimes I know it's hard, but if we don't, then nobody may know, because they may look at you and you're like, you seem fine, what?
Yeah.
Right? Even though you're like that swan on top look fine, but the feet.
I know. My heart goes out to all the caregivers actually who find themselves in a difficult position.
But you've been in that position as well.
Yeah. So it really does boil down to acknowledging the fact that you do need a timeout, you do need some rest, and you need a support system.
Yes.
Someone you can tap out with.
That's right. And that's like social rest, right? So one of the rest is social rest. For some people, it's about moving away from people who are very draining. We talked about toxic relationships before. Yeah,
yes, I love that term.
Yeah. They just suck all your energy.
Exactly.
After 5 minutes, you're like, okay, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, but
Why
then
is that?
Why? Because it's like, number one, maybe your values don't align. You don't believe in what they're saying, or they just keep taking, and leave you no opportunity to give or even be yourself. So part of social rest is also it could be being with people who allow you to authentically be yourself.
Yeah.
And that's very restorative because you don't have to put on a mask, right?
I'm getting this sense that this idea of rest is not like really not doing anything, but
that's
also
right.
exploring those areas, like you mentioned, creative rest is where you
Yes.
do something that really like, fulfills that creative side of you.
Yeah.
Or even this social rest. It's not
Yes.
taking a rest from like socially from your friends, but also to be around people who let you be who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Nowadays, we also have social media rest or detox.
Yes,
Ooh.
detox.
Because you're online so
important.
much, and
Yes.
even when you're home supposedly resting, you're online.
Yeah. I mean, that could be classified under sensory rest. So sensory rest is when your senses are overstimulated and overloaded.
Yeah.
So for example, you go for an event and it's like full on for 3 days. After that, don't you feel like exhausted? It's
Yeah.
like your eyes were exposed to bright lights, your ears are pumping music, and then
Sure,
everyone's
sure.
talking to you and you have to engage. And especially maybe if you're an introvert, sensory rest is really important. You need to like go back into yourself and have that quiet time. So social media rest could be part of that sensory rest.
Okay, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, join us online. We're on facebook.com/1FM91.3. Got a cool prize for you there this morning as well.
That's right. If you'd like to win for yourself this amazing giveaway, I think your car will definitely thank you for it. This is from Dixon Auto Center, and it's a car maintenance and servicing package that's worth over $190. Ooh, we'll tell you more about it and also how you can win it by answering
Yes.
this very easy question.
Very easy. We will reveal the question online. So come on over for your chance to win.
The Bright
Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Hello, everybody. All right, so Sha-En mentioned earlier on that there are 7 types of rest. Okay, just name us one type of rest. By the end of the discussion, just type in, name one type of rest for your chance to win that cool prize.
Yes, it is a car maintenance and servicing package that's worth over $190 thanks to Dixon Auto
Auto
Center.
Center.
What's in it? 58-point vehicle health check and report, always good to know. Computerized diagnostic scan. You've got the antibacterial cabin sanitation, and also car wash, interior vacuum, and tire shine. Ooh.
Because you know why, your
Why?
car also needs to rest.
That's true. That
yes.
is true. Also, a Shell Helix Ultra. Let me see now. Synthetic engine oil and filter. Wow.
Nice.
I feel very rested reading through all that.
Okay, so just
pampered.
type in the comment section, just name one of the types of rest, one of the 7 that Sha-En has mentioned this morning for your chance to win. So Sha-En, we're talking about rest. Do you get enough rest yourself?
I would say, I guess there are periods when I get more rest and there are periods that I don't. But I think this year, ever since I've known this concept, or I said last year, in fact, I've become more intentional about the kinds of rest that I put into my schedule.
Okay,
So, for
okay.
example, I love cooking and baking, and that's my creative rest because that's the time where I get to create something, right? And so I realized that if I cook maybe once or twice a week, I have that built into my schedule. I know for some people that may be labor, but for me, that's my creativity. So we need to find our own things, right? Some people like to paint, some people like journaling, some people like scrapbooking.
I
Yeah.
like doing absolutely nothing, but I end up feeling quite guilty. Like literally just nothing, just lie in bed. I always feel like I need to be in bed. So I really feel like I'm resting my body as well.
When does the guilt start kicking in?
When
10 minutes?
When my husband, after a couple of hours, my husband wants to go cycling or, he wants to take the dog for a walk. And I'm like, but I'm just tired, I just
Sure,
feel like
sure.
I want to do absolutely nothing. But then there's the obligation to your family and your spouse as well. Then I feel a bit bad, like I'm not partaking in that.
Yeah. But I guess it comes back to the belief that you have about rest. See, for some people, rest is good. But for some people, rest produces guilt because we have always been told like you need to be productive, you need to show up, you need to keep constantly doing things. But at some point, doing is not going to be beneficial for you. So we have to ask ourselves, is all that doing actually helping us? Or is it harming us? Or is it time for us to, like you said, do nothing and allow your body to actually unwind, or mental rest?
Yeah.
Right? Allow the mind to just float away and not have to process things.
I wonder if that's also because when I sleep at night, I have very vivid dreams. So in the morning when I wake up, I'm tired because I feel like I have to go to an alternative life now.
Yeah.
So I've got one life here in radio and another life in my nighttime when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
It's so vivid and I wake up tired. I feel like I've been hit by a bus. And so, which is why I like sleeping in on weekends and just doing absolutely nothing to try and recover from all that.
Yeah,
It's
That
hectic.
sounds glorious. I need to hang out with you on the weekends. Yeah, like 3 of us. We just go away for the weekend and
Do
we just
nothing.
sleep in. And then all the
Like 3
schedule
vampires.
schedule room service to come at like
Not energy
certain time,
vampire, literally vampire.
Yeah. then we'll just like occasionally look at each other. Sha-En, good? Okay, good. All right, let's carry on. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So what are the 7 rests again? So we've got creative, we have mental, we have
Emotional,
the
Social.
sensory, social.
sensory. And there's last one that we didn't talk about, which is spiritual rest.
Spiritual
Yeah, and most people would think that spiritual rest has got something to do with religion. It can. For
Okay.
example, you could go to church or go to the mosque and pray and get that rest. But essentially, spiritual rest is about finding meaning in what you're doing. We talked about purpose a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, finding meaning in what you're doing. So you could feel like something is very spiritual when you've been working on something and you see it come to fruition. You're like, now I see why that was so important to me.
I
Or
see.
it makes sense now. So
Okay,
spiritual rest could
okay.
also be that.
Okay,
And so,
Chopa, we're gonna jump back on air and maybe talk about that as well. We don't want our listeners to miss out on all this goodness.
Yes.
Okay, hang tight. Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine here on 1FM 91.3. Oh yes, definitely hope you are surfing those sun rays this morning. Carol and Lavinia with you on the Brightside, joined in the studio by happiness scientist Sha-En Yeo in for our weekly chat. We're talking about the 7 types of rest. Can we have a quick recap?
Yes, so we have emotional rest, physical rest, mental rest, creative rest, sensory rest, social rest, and spiritual rest.
The last one. Okay, what does that entail?
Yeah, spiritual rest. I think many people think that it has got something to do with religion. And it can. For example, you could go to church or the mosque and you could pray and you have that quiet time. But it's also about connecting to meaning in your life. Like what brings you meaning. And so for some people, certain activities are very spiritual activities because they can feel connected to something that's bigger than themselves.
Okay.
Right? Maybe it's volunteering at a cause. That could be spiritual rest. Or it could just be, you finish the project and you're like, wow, I see the meaning and the bigger picture in what I'm doing. And it's very hard to capture that feeling. But that's what Sandra Dalton-Spies describes as spiritual rest.
This is really
sense of
fascinating.
connection.
Very, very fascinating because, again, I always think of rest as really just downtime, switching off and all that, the detoxing, which is also part of this. But these 7 rests cover about how to just have more balance, I feel
Yes,
like, in
that's
your
right.
different parts of your life with creativity or even spirituality, finding purpose. Very
Because
fascinating.
we're so diverse as individuals, right? There are so many areas of our lives that demand attention. And I think recognizing the different kinds of rest help us, just find more balance in our
That's
our
right.
being as well. So if we're beginning to realize the need for all 7 types of rest, where and how do we even get started?
Yeah. Okay. So for this medical doctor, she has an online quiz which you could actually do that to identify which rest you need the most. But I think if we look through the list, we would kind of get a sense of which one we might not have enough of. And her suggestion is let's start there.
Okay.
So, for example, if I recognize that maybe I don't have enough mental rest because I spend a lot of time reading journals, I'm thinking about a lot of things on my mind, and then I'm the kind who sometimes wakes up at 3 a.m. with all kinds of things I need to download onto a piece of paper, then perhaps that's where I want to start. Okay. Like maybe I need to spend time in the daytime to breathe and meditate or focus on just one thing at a time so that I can have mental rest and not allow my mind to dart all over. So everyone's so-called wherever your rest needs most,
Okay.
she suggests let's begin there.
I mean, just start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Find out what it is and then start
Yeah.
somewhere. I'm very interested to try that quiz.
Yeah.
Yes, you can find it at daltonsmith.com. Okay, so
Yeah,
go and
and-
check it out and
And
try
also,
the
I
quiz
think
out.
if we realize that we are sleeping and it's not helping, that's a wake-up call to say it's not just that physical rest, right? Let's go and explore.
I've experienced this. I'm home trying to rest, but I still don't feel rested. Like my mind is racing all the time. There's always something on my mind.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, so that's mental.
Okay.
So you're similar to me. I have lots of thoughts going
Yeah.
on in my mind. And in order to center or focus the thoughts, we first need to become aware of those thoughts. And that could be just sitting there and trying to focus on one aspect of your body, maybe,
Yeah.
like your breath. And then just focus. Because when our minds are all over the place, it's like what psychologists describe as a monkey mind.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
chattering all the time. Maybe
Yeah.
all these voices, and then you sit down to rest, and then I got to clean this. I got to put this away before I forget. And then you're
Yeah.
getting up, every 5 minutes to attend to
Yeah,
something.
and these are
Yes,
these
yes,
are
yes.
patterns that we develop from young sometimes, right? And so we need to do the opposite. So if you feel like, I need to go and do something, you're like, okay, no,
Yeah.
I could just sit here. And it's uncomfortable because it goes against what we normally do.
That is
But
true.
part of the practice to do something different is to bear with that discomfort and sit with it and say like, hey, how is this actually helping me that I'm not getting up every 5 minutes? And how do I feel after that?
It brings in, Carol,
Yeah.
what you said earlier about the guilt you feel for just trying to time out or just rest,
Yeah,
right?
and it's all connected actually. Your thoughts, your
Yeah.
actions, your body, and how you feel, and why the pattern keeps repeating.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, in order to get, the kind of rest that I need, these 7 types of rest, I also need to educate those around me because,
Yes.
the guilt, because like my kids, the moment they see me sit down with a cup of coffee, right? They won't leave me alone. It's like they've
Yeah.
been programmed to
Oh, mom is free.
and then it's like
yeah.
ask questions, hang around me, and I'm just like, I just want to enjoy my coffee hot. Hot people, please. So I think there's a need to educate everyone
right.
around to
Agree.
respect what my rest could be like.
That's right. Yeah. And I think it begins, like we said earlier, to communicate that. Like, I just need this 10-15 minutes to sip my hot coffee, right? And I'll come back to you later. And of course, the person on the receiving end, if they're used to always having you all the time, then it will take time for them to adjust, just like we take time to adjust
Yeah.
to new habits in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can start small. It's not like, oh, if you're up every 5 minutes, now I got to like, for 3 hours, don't do anything. That's going to be very uncomfortable to start because it's a big step. It's not a small step.
That sounds glorious though.
What are some?
I would try it.
It does, right? What are some resources people can find out where people can find out more?
Yeah, I think Sandra Dalton Smith, she has written a book called Sacred Rest.
Okay.
Yeah, and she calls it sacred because she is God-fearing and God-loving.
Okay.
And so, but it doesn't have to mean that if you don't believe in God, that you can't apply those principles.
Yeah.
You
right?
can't appreciate
Yeah,
what
you
she's
can't
saying.
appreciate.
Okay.
Yeah, on her website as well, as Lavinia has mentioned earlier.
Yes,
has
her
a lot of great
website.
These
resources.
tips are very practical.
Yes, very practical
Yeah.
tips for each kind of rest that you can apply for yourself.
Ooh, I think this is the correct one. It says the rest quiz at restquiz.com. So that's something that you also might want to check out.
I'm resting. I can't take the quiz. Sorry.
Hey, what?
That's a good one.
Thank you so much for joining us this Monday.
You're welcome.
I hope you get some good rest this June school holidays. Okay.
Yes, and to all of you as well. Hope
right.
you'll get lots of good rest too.
Thank
Okay.
you, my dear.
You take care.
Hit us up.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3.